Welcome to this wandering walk in historic Lexington, Missouri. Lexington is located on the bluffs of the Missouri River and was platted in 1822. It was named in commemoration of the Battle of Lexington. The first ferry was established in 1819 by Lexington's founder, Gilead Roop. In 1823, Lexington became the county seat of Lafayette County and grew rapidly. John All opened a mercantile store in 1822 and was soon joined by his brothers James and Robert. The All Brothers firm soon had a frontier chain, also operating stores in Independence, Westport, and Liberty, Missouri. Other merchants came, as did farmers and planters who specialized in hemp, tobacco, and cattle. With the emphasis on trade and agriculture, Lexington and Lafayette County also had one of the largest slave populations in the state. Many homes in town still have the old slave quarters behind them. Lexington was a bustling and prosperous city, the largest city west of St. Louis in the 1830s and 1840s. During that period, it was the major center for merchants and outfitters as trappers, traders, and immigrants prepared to travel westward on the Santa Fe, California, Oregon, and Mormon trails. Goods sent west from Lexington were valued at over $450,000 in 1843. Rope walks, slaughterhouses, a foundry, and a furniture factory were among the early Lexington industries. In the 1840s, Russell's, Majors, and Waddell, the largest trading firm in the West, established its headquarters on Main Street. Eventually, Russell's, Majors, and Waddell would also found the Pony Express. In the 1850s, these three men had 3,500 wagons carrying goods from Missouri to Sacramento, Denver, and other points. And as I mentioned, in 1860, they found the Pony Express. Lexington is noted for not only the history of the place, but also its buildings and architectures. One of the first buildings we're taking a look at here is the Lafayette County Courthouse. Construction began in 1847, and it was the third courthouse in the county. This is also the oldest remaining courthouse in use in the state of Missouri. The early portion, with its column portico, remains unchanged except for some modern lighting, heating, and office equipment. The office wing on the east side of the building was begun in 1854. Afterwards, a second story was added. In 1939, it was connected to the main courthouse, and new vaults and offices were added. During the Battle of Lexington in September of 1861, a cannonball struck the east column, and here you see it still remains in place. The clock was installed in 1886. Lexington was the site of two of the largest battles in the Western campaign of the American Civil War. The better-known Battle of Lexington is commonly referred to as the Battle of the Hemp Bales. On September 12, 1861, between 6,000 and 10,000 soldiers of the Missouri National State Guard, led by Major General Sterling Price, began a siege against the federal military post in the old Masonic College commanded by Colonel James A. Mulligan. On September 18th, Price's army mounted an assault. Some of Price's army used hemp bales as moving breastworks while they moved up the river bluff and closed in on Mulligan's headquarters. On September 20th, 1861, Mulligan's troops surrendered. Combined casualties were 73 dead and 270 wounded. The battlefield on the bluffs of the Missouri River is now a state park. The Second Battle of Lexington occurred during Price's Missouri expedition on October 19, 1864. Lexington was known as a center for Quantrill's raiders during the war. 2 months after the Civil War ended, many of the guerrilla fighters who had refused to honor the ceasefire finally decided to take advantage of the special federal amnesty that was declared for such forces and turn themselves in at Lexington. While riding into town, reportedly under a white flag, they were fired upon by Union soldiers from the 2nd Wisconsin Cavalry, and Jesse James was severely wounded in the right lung. Some credit this event as a major contributing factor to his post-war career as a legendary bank robber. It is likely not a coincidence that the James Younger gang targeted the Alexander Mitchell Bank in Lexington for the second daylight bank robbery in the United States. In December 1866, Archie Clement, an accomplice of the James brothers and perhaps the most notorious of all the guerrilla fighters, terrorized this town and was shot from his horse and killed by a sniper perched on the 2nd floor of the courthouse. Lexington never returned to its pre-war prominence, replaced by Kansas City as the most important city in western Missouri. Particularly harmful was arrival of the Transcontinental Railroad, which supplanted the river commerce. A number of institutions of higher education were established, leading the town to bill itself as the Athens of the West. Especially significant were 3 schools for women: the Elizabeth All Seminary, Lexington Ladies College, and Central College for Women. Until its closing in 2017, Wentworth Military Academy, which was founded in 1880, drew students from around the country and around the world. The Madonna of the Trail statue was designed and sculpted by August Limbach of St. Louis. The statue was unveiled and dedicated on September 17, 1928 by the Missouri State Society Daughters of the American Revolution in memory of the brave pioneer women who helped settle the West. Keynote speaker was then Jackson County, Missouri judge and future U.S. President Harry Truman. The state is one of 12 placed in every state crossed by the National Old Trails Road, the main route of early settlers from the east to California. This is a memorial to the steamboat Saluda disaster. In April 1852, an aging side-wheeler steamboat called the Saluda churned up the Missouri River from St. Louis, bound for Iowa. Unable to push past the Lexington Bend due to ice flows and strong currents, it docked at Lexington's upper landing. Among 175 passengers still on board were people headed for various upriver towns, men bound for the California goldfields, and about 75 Mormon immigrants, mostly Europeans. On Good Friday, April the 9th, Captain Francis Belt vowed to round the bend or blow this boat to hell. At about 7:30 a.m., the Saluda eased from the landing. Before the paddle wheel made 3 revolutions, the red-hot boilers exploded. The sound of the explosion was heard over 2 miles away. Passengers, crew, baggage, timber, chimneys, and boiler scraps were blown ashore or into the river. The Saluda's bell landing high up on the riverbank, as did a 600-pound safe with a yellow-spotted dog, unfortunately killed, still leashed to it. 2/3 of the boat, everything above the lower deck and extending back to the wheelhouse, were blown away. Estimates of the dead and missing vary from 26 to 135. Best eyewitness accounts say about 75 people were killed or lost and presumed dead, and over 3 dozen injured. Captain Belt, the steamboat captain, was killed. The Saluda disaster ranks as one of the worst steamboat tragedies, perhaps the worst on the Missouri River. It caused the U.S. Congress that year to enact new operating rules and stricter inspection standards for steamboats. I hope you've enjoyed this wandering walk through Lexington, Missouri. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next walk. Bye.